Slamming in BJJ grappling tournaments. Let's talk about it. It's happening and people are not happy. It's starting fights. And we need to talk a little bit more about where does slamming fit into grappling and should it be banned completely maybe?
Or is it a fucking super legitimate technique?
Maybe it's an important escape, aka Rampage Jackson.
Ricardo Arona.
Oh,
Let's not forget the Brazilian Tiger famously, fucking slammed his way, or got slammed by Rampage out in a triangle.
That was like probably the greatest example of the power bomb knockout.
Yeah. For those that haven't seen that, Ricardo Arona was one of the most winningest ADCC.
The most, I think, 16 wins, no losses, no points.
No points scored on him, right? The Brazilian Tiger, they called him?
Potentially,
He's a fucking animal. We met him. We met at ADCC
in 2022.
Yeah, lovely bloke. And he went on to fight MMA.
Yep.
And he put Rampage Jackson in a triangle from the bottom. And Rampage just stood up and went full extension. Like he lifted him so high. It was beautiful. And then just fucking slammed him and
powerbomb.
Knocked him out. And then I think Rampage got one.
Threw a punch.
Yeah, one or two shots in. And
brutal.
So my old flatmate actually met Ricardo.
Right.
On a surf, he was involved in the surf industry, and he met him, and he's like, "Oh, jiu-jitsu, my flatmate does that." And he's like, "Oh yeah," and he's like, "Can I get your signature?" You know, he knew he was a somebody, but he didn't know who he was. And he's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Just tell him I'm the guy that got slammed by Rampage Jackson." He was like, "That's my."
It's a shame to think that he gets remembered a lot by that. But I mean, look, I remember him destroying Sakuraba, which was pretty brutal.
Oh yeah, he's a fucking animal,
savage. But the reason this came up is I was sent a message by a friend of the podcast who sent me a video and said, "What do you think about this?" And he had closed guard as brown belt. It was at World Jiu-Jitsu League, which was held in New Jersey. Right. And I was actually pretty close.
No fucking knee bars?
No fucking knee bars. And I was actually in New Jersey that same weekend, strangely enough.
Slam heard around the suburbs.
Yeah, I felt it. I was, what the fuck was that? And so I believe it was from closed guard, and the guy stood up, and he didn't have a submission on, and the guy just fucking bombed him.
Right.
And the referee kind of didn't quite know how to react, and the guy's like, "What the fuck?" And
didn't knock him out, obviously. It was
no, but it was like, dude, like you can injure people even just from the waist height, not from like a submission. And then he gets up and proceeds to get in the guy's face and fucking headbutts the guy.
So the dude that got slammed headbutted the slammer.
Yeah, so he got DQ'd for that.
Nice. That's what I would have done.
Of course, it's logical progression there. But the person messaging me said, "Hey man, what the fuck with this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's terrible, right? Like in almost no normal open tournament can you slam. The exception to this is the ADCC World Championships. And it's not allowed in the opens, right? You can't slam in the opens. It has to be from a locked-in submission.
Wait, what are the opens?
Like, you know,
the trials?
Not the trials. Like, you can just go. The ADCC has their own tournaments now.
Ah, right.
They have their own tournament series, so you could go to like ADCC Austin.
Yeah.
Similar to the IBJJF.
Yeah.
But you can't do slams in those.
Right. It's only in the
pro category, and it has to be from a locked-in submission.
Right.
Now, a pretty famous example of this was Jeff Glover had a locked-in triangle against Boogie from 10th Planet.
Yep.
And Jeff was winning that match, and he kept it, and he got rocked, and Boogie passed and beat him.
Nice.
Like he just absolutely KO'd him. And people say, "Oh, you know, but Jeff knew what was coming." And you know, some people with the slams will still hold on, being like, "I'm tough enough to eat this. I want to get the submission." But I also...
Well, I mean, sometimes the slam is ineffective, right?
Yeah, it can be.
Like, especially when you're in that...
kind of balled up.
that flex position.
And you don't get your head slammed.
Yeah, but if they time it just right, it can also fuck you up. Like, it's a gamble.
It'd be devastating. And
it's also tricky because as grapplers, we're conditioned to slams being illegal.
Yes.
So you've usually trained that it's not going to happen to you. And then you enter a comp where it can happen to you and you fucking... Yeah.
Right. And I mean, this happened at AIGA, and I saw this firsthand. Jason Nolf against Diego Pato. Pato got him in a triangle, so it was legit. Nolf's a strong guy, stood up, looked at the ref and said, "Can I slam this guy?" And the ref went, "Yeah," from the triangle, which he did. Didn't really injure Pato, but Pato let the triangle go and they kept going. But then Pato got the closed guard and Nolf stood up with him and looked at the ref and said, like, "Can I slam the guy?" The ref's like, "No." still bombs him.
Oh, wow.
And gets disqualified.
Wow.
And as a result, Team Williams lost. Pato was like, well, that was an easy win.
Yeah.
It was kind of silly in a way. And, he argued, I didn't slam him. My knees got tired and but he's holding the hips.
I dropped him from close
Yeah,
guard,
it was accidental, and I think
We've all done that.
I think the intention is what's going on here. And slamming people because they're landing on their spine, right? This is the chance of injuries. It's up there,
Yeah.
Whether we're talking from a locked in submission or not.
Yeah.
And so the reason why I want to talk about this is I've been seeing it a bit more, people posting clips of people slamming and then referees being like, shit, fuck. Like the referee's like,
Fuck, what's the rules say
so I
here?
give a DQ?
So just to clarify, ADCC in the pro, the big comp, you can do it
From a
obviously
locked-in submission.
from a locked in sub, or and you can also take someone down, right? So you can pick them up and dump them.
Well, that's the thing.
Like can you spike?
No.
You're not allowed to
Well,
spike.
I mean, it's kind of not intentionally.
Yeah, right.
Not intentionally. But that's the thing too, right? In the context of a takedown and you got someone on your shoulder, yeah, you can slam the fuck out of
Yeah,
them.
you
So
fucking
and we've seen that
wipe them
more and
into the
more
earth.
and people getting upset about it.
EBI? Can you slam out of?
So in EBI, once the person lifts you up above their waist height, you must disengage the submission.
Right.
That's the rules.
So the onus is on the attack, like on the
Yeah.
right, the guard puller,
Or the guard player. Yes.
guard player. What about Polaris?
Yeah, you've seen some
Probably.
slams in there. I think
It's tricky, right? Because it's become pretty commonplace now in no-gi comps.
because let's talk about why are there slams in ADCC. It's fucking exciting.
Yep.
Right? It leans more towards the MMA element
Yep.
of being the combat
It's as real as it
grappling,
gets.
allegedly. And then, just breaks the bottle and fucking stabs him in the neck. I think
Murillo Santana tried to introduce that rule set, but apparently they weren't happy with his approach.
I cannot actually speak to the exact factual accuracy of this statement. Who knows?
Boom.
Shout out in the comments section. I'm sure you will. But no, I think the thing is that I think the reason why the ADCC has it there, and I searched this, there was no really good answer, is it is a legitimate defense to a submission, is a slam,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yep.
And so you're like, okay, there's that. And at the end of the day, for the best part, if you're just a normal person going into a jiu-jitsu comp, you don't expect to get slammed from close guard. Or you don't.
No.
Most people are not even strong enough. If you've got them in a triangle, most people are not strong enough to just pick you up from that position, right?
Are they not? I guess not.
You got them in a locked up. Joe, not everyone is as strong as you. You've got to remember
But
this.
you get that adrenaline.
You're not
like, I'm about
Rampage
to get
Jackson.
fucking choked out here.
No,
Shit.
but it's such a tough spot,
Yeah.
to do that. I think the reason why also the ADCC doesn't allow it in their normal tournaments is because the chance of injury is so high.
right.
Like people are getting injured just off takedowns,
Yeah.
broken ribs and elbows and things like that. So, man,
Yeah, and it's there's an aspect of like brutality to it.
Yeah,
Like
bad intention.
It's like a strike.
Yeah.
In terms of
you're striking the person with the earth.
Yeah.
And that's why judo is so tough, just getting thrown into the ground. And I mean, it is available enough when you see people getting suplexed, right?
Yeah.
Like Cody Steele. I was actually sitting down the road from him at CJI too.
Oh yeah.
Bro, that guy will suplex you into the earth like multiple times. Like
I was looking forward to seeing more of that guy in the comp circuit.
yeah.
Like in the CGI and shit. Maybe
he's gone to MMA. So
Yeah, right.
that's where his focus is.
because that year when he did trials,
Oh,
there was some great highlights coming out.
wild.
Of that. Yeah.
Wild business. So athletic. So vicious too. But
Reminds me of myself.
the question is, I don't see the likeness. But that's fine. However you associate, Joe. I think the thing is, here's the question: should slamming be banned? Because it seems like there's this grey area that people are getting confused in the moment, and like, yes, the ADCC does it, but where is the line? Because most major competitions do not allow slamming, yet people are doing it.
Yeah,
From a closed
I
guard
mean,
position, from submission
I
positions.
I don't see any reason. I just think it's people not being familiar with the rule set. And, you know, like whatever, we came up in competitions where you couldn't do it, right?
No.
And then, you know, but you would go to the odd comp where it'd be like, oh, like, you know, I remember like at Blue Belt, we'd be like, oh, hey, at this comp, like you can do leg locks.
Sure.
You know, and it was like, oh shit, okay, wow, this comp's different. And then you go in and you're like, you know.
Expecting that.
So in a way, I just think that maybe for some of those smaller comps, the rule sets are unclear. Maybe their coaches didn't do a good job of explaining it.
Yeah, potentially.
But it seemed to work pretty fine.
But I'm just talking risk to reward.
Yeah.
People get injured without slams. But you put slamming in the rule set, is that a good idea? That's probably more what I'm getting to.
Have we seen anyone cop a really serious injury I tend to think like even though they look spectacular and horrible on the body, I feel like we don't see like a lot
Well, there
of...
probably hasn't been enough to run the study on the brain damage or the neck damage or, you know, I mean, jiu-jitsu is not, it's fucking not pillow fighting. Like everybody's fucking going really hard to fuck each other up. Like that's the truth of it. So it's more that because there's more people doing jiu-jitsu at a grassroots level, not necessarily an elite level, but you're seeing super savage young humans at blue belt and purple belt going ham on each other, especially in the ADCC comps and greater rule sets like Grappling Industries. You know, they allow certain leg locks in advanced categories. Yeah, you're seeing plenty of people fucking wreck each other. I guess the thing is slamming or should slamming be part of grappling? Like, is that legitimate as a part of grappling? And so that's what I wanted to touch on, because if people are suffering from it, and I'm sure there's a bunch of people who've got injured, have it happen to them, it's just not famous. It just happened at a small comp somewhere. And you know, even if it wasn't in the rule set, they might have been on the wrong end of that and it's done them damage, you know?
Yeah.
So that's where I feel like it could be really good if there's just like a blanket rule that outside of the ADCC or outside of like a prize money match at the elite level, just no fucking slamming, and it's just super clear, you know? Because maybe having the lines blurred is a problem. The number one thing that is ruining your BJJ performance is dehydration. You're getting thirsty after warm-up, you're feeling lethargic when you're rolling, and you're getting cramps by the end of class. The key to unlocking this is Sodi. That is the sponsor of today's show. It is the best tasting mineral salts you can get to hydrate yourself. What do? Electrolytes, sodium, potassium, and magnesium keep the water in your working muscles so that you feel really good, you've got the energy, and you don't suffer cramps. Go to Sodi, sodi.com.au and use the code Bulletproof15. You get 15% off. It tastes great, and you are going to feel great when you roll.
But that's kind of how it is, right? As in, it really is only those elite comps that allow it. You know, from what we know,
I couldn't say for sure.
Yeah, right. But it seems from I'm observing that like most of the mainstream comps, I'm sure like Grappling Industries and stuff and IBJJF stuff, it's not allowed.
No slamming.
Yeah. So in that way, no, I'm all for it.
Okay.
You know, just in terms of like, I mean, there's, you know, it's kind of like, fuck, do we allow leg locks? Well, some motherfuckers are going to get some ligaments torn. Right. You know, and it's like, well, that's the game, you know. So I tend to think it's spectacular, and I like it. Yeah. And I do also think it's a like from a purity perspective. I'm like, it's a totally legitimate technique. Someone pulls some, because it's kind of like guard pulling, right? In a way, like guard pulling has become like you will see people slam themselves. Like, you know, to pull guard, you know, they'll like fly onto their back and like fuck up their, you know, whatever. Like, and you're like, wow, you can only do that because we're on mats.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you're like, in a way, there's been a departure from, you know, and of course it's a sport and it's had its own evolution, but there's a great departure from like what would actually be effective self-defense.
Right. But I don't think we can. Let's not go too far to the side here.
No.
Sports BJJ has nothing to do with self-defense, so we just can't even.
No. But follow me with this. But so the idea that like it would be an even further departure, right? If we're like, oh, hey, this thing that could be potentially injurious, we can't allow it anymore. I think like, no, that's fucking legit.
All right. Well, I think
you feel otherwise.
No, I look, slamming happens, right? Even intentional or no, right? Like someone just loses their balance. They didn't actually mean to slam them and they get DQ'd. Whereas you got some people who have bad intentions, right? And I think this is where you know, and it
Yeah,
doesn't
but those
mean,
cunts with bad intentions also do arm bars. They're also allowed to jump guillotine on you.
yeah, sure.
And they're going to fucking separate your spine if they get the chance.
Yeah, definitely. But what I'm saying here is that is it necessary to have slamming as part of grappling? And I would say no. In the same way, many things are not allowed to be in there because it's grappling. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people be like, yeah, but how come you can't just fucking shin kick, calf kicks, bro? And I mean, if you look at last CJI,
As long as you're doing it with the inside edge of your foot, you can kick the leg as hard as you like.
Dude, Giancarlo Baldoni, bro, he was just fucking.
Oh yeah,
like there was no inside. It was just, I looked like I clubbed you, and bam, leg kick. So look, you know, at the end of the day, I think my thinking, because I'm always, you know, maybe I'm a bit conservative in this way. I think about injury and I think about longevity and I think about all this shit. And I think if you're an average punter, I mean, obviously, if you know the rules and you're going into the environment, that's fine. And like you say, maybe at the highest level or the pro level, it's like you choose to play this game. This is the fucking rule set. That's it, right? So I think we all have a degree of what's it called? Not obligation. You know what you sign up for.
yeah.
I think it's more than when somebody, you know, no fucking knee boss. You're like, no, dude, it's the purple belt category.
Somebody breaks the rule of that.
Yeah,
in
and
the
it's like
beginning.
everyone's trying to play by the rules except for one person.
Yeah.
And so I feel this is where it can have some bad outcomes.
But that's, I mean, I tend to think that's
just competing. That's just
well,
jiu-jitsu.
the rule is already there in those comps, no slamming, and cunts still do it. And as we know, I tend to think it's an instinctive thing for a lot of people who are less trained, whereby, or seriously frustrated, maybe like Jason Nolf,
Yeah.
where it's like, fucking get off me,
gotta
cunt.
get
And you
off,
just,
yes.
you have you fuck out and you're not thinking straight. And, you know, you're like, I can just pick this cunt up and slam him.
Sure.
Like I know I got slammed once in a white belt comp.
Yep.
Whatever, well, white belts. The dude probably didn't know that was a rule, right?
Sure.
He's probably a rugby league player and it was his first jits, you know?
Sure.
But even when the rule says don't do it, it's still going to happen sometimes.
It can happen. Yeah. But
So you're never going to outlaw it completely.
No. It's not that it's not outlawed. It is outlawed. People are going to break the rules. Like that's the chaos element. You can't stop that. I guess it's more that because people are aware it's part of the game, or they may have experienced a different rule set, then by having it as part of the game, that means it's more likely to happen. That might be a long straw to draw, right? But that's more the angle I'm coming from. So, Joe is pro slamming. I am not.
I'm pro, you know, and I do think.
Just know when you fucking roll this guy. Just
Hey,
don't go for the triangle.
Fuck, man, yeah. I had a little brain fart.
It's
Fuck,
fucking
sorry, bro.
Ricardo Arona. I was just practicing my fucking good mornings. Good douche.
But the other side of it too is if you know that that's a risk, then it makes you approach your submissions in a slightly different way, right? Like if you're throwing a triangle or an armbar from the bottom,
leg,
hook the leg or fucking like secure something.
Yeah.
Know when to bail out. And I'm like, I feel like that's also good for your jiu-jitsu is to know that, you know.
Good
for the street.
Fuck the streets. Fuck them kids. No, I think the thing is, it's just like there's such variety in what, if you just go to like a kind of, this might sound wrong, like more like a mum and pop school, and then you got some young kid training at the baddest gym ever, and they all slam and they all bang and it's tough as fuck. And you put these two people in the same environment, even though the rules may be stated or maybe they weren't read to them, they have two very different approaches to grappling, and one person's going to end up, you know, potentially very badly hurt just because you've got such a variety in expectation around what competition is, regardless of the rule set, you know? Anyway, there it is. Do you like to slam or are you against it? Let us know in the comments, folks. Peace.